I want to get back now to the chaos at the Capitol. Some lawmakers are insisting on holding President Trump accountable for last week's riot at the U.S. Capitol. They're moving ahead with plans to remove President Trump from office, but how they plan to do that with just 9 days left in his term is still being all worked out. Joining me this afternoon is Dr. Wesley Renfro, an associate professor of political science at Quinnipiac University. Dr. Renfro, thank you so much for being with us.
Good afternoon.
First up, let's get everyone caught up here. Where exactly do we stand right now in terms of a possible impeachment or invoking the 25th Amendment?
So congressional leadership on the Democratic side has called on Vice President Mike Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment. That's a necessary step. He has thus far declined to do so. And a retaliatory move, Nancy Pelosi has suggested that Mike Pence may be impeached for failing to invoke the 25th Amendment. There is at least one motion for impeachment and also a second. It looks like there are enough votes to pass this motion in the House of Representatives. And if it is passed, it will then at some point move on to the Senate for a trial.
President Trump has spoken a lot about 2024 already and possibly running then. If he is impeached or the 25th Amendment is invoked, what could that mean for a possible second run for office for President Trump?
So if he's impeached and then convicted, the Senate does have the option of adding on additional punishments, which may include a provision that would ban him from running and serving for another term. If the 25th Amendment is invoked, it's not clear that this would impact his ability to run again in 2024. I think there's a little bit perhaps of a gray area there about whether or not he's been sufficiently rehabilitated to be deemed capable. But, I think the courts would certainly suss that piece out.
Most presidents, when they leave office, make a considerable amount of money, either from book deals or public speaking engagements. How does the recent events affect the president when he eventually leaves office?
So, in the context of impeachment and conviction, he would forfeit some of the perks that come from being a former president. That's a separate bundle of activities than the things that he might do as a private citizen, like writing a book, for example. I think the question is, to what demand will there be for President Trump's memoirs, for example? And I think that's an unknown. It does seem like public opinion is running against him, although there are certainly some folks who strongly support him. All that being said, there are many people who might want to read his book or might want to purchase products that don't automatically support his cause.
And lastly, 9 days to go now until President-elect Joe Biden has his inauguration. How do you think all of this chaos and what has happened recently does for the transition of the Biden team?
Well, first and foremost, I think it underscores the danger to, not only the Bidens and people who might be serving in the Biden's cabinet, but also the good men and women who serve in law enforcement agencies, not only in Washington, D.C., but in various state capitals around the country where there are reportedly credible threats of violence. And so I think the first most pressing matter is to make sure that we get through the inaugural with everybody intact physically. After that, I think it certainly does complicate his ability to move forward with his legislative agenda, in particular if impeachment is looming. Although there are some reports that perhaps we might try and split things so that if there is a trial, it occurs significantly later, but that's yet to be determined.
Well, you are an absolute wealth of knowledge, and we appreciate you being with us. Dr. Wesley Renfro, thank you so much.
Thank you.